Hey, what's up? In today's episode, we're going to be talking about content marketing, what mediums we should be using, and how they're going to impact our thought leadership in SEO. Let's go.
I'm going to hit the brakes, I'll fly right by.
60% of the time, it works every time.
I was hanging.
Hey, 10 points for our fearless leader.
That's not an option. You got to keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, dig it, you make it work for you. You never give up, man. That's my philosophy.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Welcome to the SMA Marketing Minute.
All right, so today's question comes from Abby, and she wants to know which content medium is going to be best for her to help elevate herself as a thought leader, as well as help her really generate more search traffic and improve her overall SEO results. So let's dive into this question and a little bit of the elements that we have to look at. The internet is fueled by content. Content is extremely important. It's the lifeblood that keeps this thing going. We use the internet to create connections, to share our ideas, to engage with other people in conversations or friends on social media, or connect with other businesses or business leaders or find products. But really the commonality that all of these platforms have is they all need content to exist. That's where this phrase, content is king, really originated from. Now, that term has really been taken out of context, especially when it comes to SEO, where people just say, okay, then all I need to do is create a lot of content in this space, and then I'm going to see positive search results as a result. Now, what's happened is the internet has been overloaded with a ton of crappy content. There's just lousy content all over the internet that really serves no other purpose other than to elevate somebody's ego or try to manipulate the search results. Now, that helps nobody out at all. It really doesn't even help the person who wrote it out, because search engines figured this out and they understand that lousy content isn't going to correlate into good rankings. It's also not going to correlate into thought leadership, because when people read lousy content, they make a judgment and they say, okay, this content is associated with this site, or I'm not going to trust that guy anymore because the content wasn't good. So really, when we want to talk about mediums and how they're going to impact our thought leadership and our SEO, we really have to talk about the purpose of our content first. And that's really where I want to get started. So let's talk a little bit about content and the purpose of our content. So what makes a piece of content good? How can we qualify good content? Well, depending on your industry, the types of content, the pieces that are going to work, and the way you're going to answer people's questions are going to differ greatly. You know, when you're speaking to a technical audience, you need to write in a certain way. When you're speaking to a mommy blog, you got to write in a totally different way. So content on that level, it's really, really hard to determine. But how I define quality content is, one, did that content have a purpose? And two, did that content actually achieve its purpose? So when I go to write a blog or I go to make a video, I try to find a purpose. Why am I doing this? Why am I creating this piece of content? And then what I try to do after it's finished is look at it and go, did I actually accomplish that? And is this something that's actually going to provide value to the person reading it? So let's use these videos, for example. These videos, I take questions from real people. They submit them through my website, or they shoot me an email, or maybe it's a question that I had from a client directly or in a conversation. And I take that question and I build a video around it. And the purpose of that video is to answer their question, to provide them some insight on the marketing question that they have. And then once I edit that video down and I watch it back, I have to ask myself again, did I answer that question to the best of my ability? If the answer is yes, I feel good and we ship it. If the answer is no, I go back and do it again, because I want to make sure that the content I'm creating is going to add value and it's going to have a purpose. Content with a purpose is not just going to help the person you're writing it for. It's going to help develop you as a thought leader. People are going to say, this guy's pushing stuff out, this guy's shipping stuff that's actually valuable, makes sense, and answers real questions. Okay, so how does writing content with purpose going to impact your SEO? Now, Google's goal is to deliver the best answer to the user with the shortest amount of clicks. They want to make sure that they understand that search query and they deliver the absolute best piece of content to the user as fast as possible. You've seen some shakeup lately in the past few years in the SERPs to really reflect that, where they give answers, in the rich snippets box, where they're really redefining the way that results page looks in order to try to give you the best results in the shortest amount of clicks. Now, what they're doing is looking at the content online. This is why they've made so many adjustments and tweaks to their algorithm. And honestly, this is a big reason that RankBrain has come along, to better understand content, understand how that content works as a whole, and what it means in context. So Google is reading your content. They're crawling through your content. They're trying to understand your content. And they're trying to understand the purpose of that content. Why was this piece of content created? And then they're reading through that piece of content and they're analyzing that piece of content, saying, does this content fulfill the purpose for which it was created? If so, this must be a good piece of content. And then they also look at a number of factors, links and all that other stuff that goes under there, those hundreds of different ranking factors that really play in. But really the two biggest things are what? Your links and your content. You need to have good contextual links that make sense, that really show that your site is an authority site. And then two, you got to have content that solves problems, that's purposeful and continues to provide value. So that's really where we need to start, is really just developing good content, quality content with purpose that serves that purpose and fulfills that purpose. And two, content that the search engines are going to understand and also evaluate as purposeful content. So let's talk a little bit about mediums. So what mediums are really going to help you elevate yourself as a thought leader and also have some really, really great SEO impact? Well, first and foremost, your blog. You need to have a place where you're writing content, that you're continually publishing good content and sharing your ideas with the world and engaging with them. And your blog is a great place to do that because it's housed on your site, so those pages get indexed on your site and the Google bots can understand what you're saying and they can understand what your site is doing as a whole. And then if you can drive people there, you can really build thought leadership. But a lot of times it's harder for businesses starting out. I know this was my case where I was writing good content. I just didn't have a large, blog subscription list. I didn't have a lot of people coming to read it yet because nobody really knew me. But I continued to be faithful and I continued to write good content. And I continued to try to do my best, to generate some search traffic and to put stuff out on social media. Now, what really helped me is when I started to really expand where I was writing. So I found some industry-specific blogs, industry-specific sites. So one of those is Search Engine Land. And I do a monthly column there. That's really helped grow my thought leadership. It does have some SEO value as well. But it really helped to show the world that, hey, I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, that I've been in the trenches for years, that I've been working in SEO, and I've seen what works and I've seen what hasn't worked. And now I can share my kind of tips of what I've done and how I've failed and how I've had a little bit of success over the years. And so by generating content on a site like Search Engine Land, I can start to kind of grow my thought leadership and my influence there. I've also written on some other blogs. I've even had some of my content syndicated from other blogs. Again, it's always not going to have that really positive SEO value because Google understands syndicated links, they understand syndicated content, and it's not going to really transfer the same link quality as it would say you got a link on a really high authority site, one time. But they do see it as, hey, this guy's an active writer. He's kind of knowing what he's talking about. And now they're starting to understand me better in the context of who I am and what I provide. LinkedIn is a great place if you're doing business to business stuff. I know the readership there it just really depends. So I'm not going to say, hey, hedge your bets on LinkedIn because I'm not really sure what Abby's business is fully going for. Another great place is Medium. Medium is kind of one of those blogging spaces that has really grown in the last couple of years. There's a ton of writers on there. It's a great place to really get your voice heard by more people. I go on there and write a lot more about leadership and a lot of things that are really personal to me because I feel like I can share my personal side there and kind of open up a little bit and not just be so strict on my marketing stuff and the stuff that's going to impact my business that I write for the business blog. So Medium's a great place and you can, yes, put links in there. Again, it may not be the same as getting a link on, a big, nice industry-related site pointing to you that say, hey, this site's awesome, but it is going to have some value. So, getting those small wins and continuing to be faithful over and over in creating that content is really what's going to help generate both the thought leadership and the SEO benefit long term. All right, so that's going to do it for this episode. Let's recap really quick. When it comes to writing quality content, the first thing is having content with a purpose. The second is making sure that your content actually delivers on that original purpose. And then when you want to grow your thought leadership and you want to grow your search traffic, you need to have first your own blog. You need to be blogging. You need to be writing content. You need to be writing quality content, content that's valuable to your users. And then you can kind of go out from there and expand. Look for industry-specific blogs. See if you can't write a column on one of those blogs, or maybe be a columnist, or maybe you can get a guest posting somewhere. Yes, guest posting still works if it's done, again, with purpose and you're not just doing it for the sole benefit of trying to get a link. Then maybe you want to reach out and try LinkedIn. Maybe you want to reach out and use Medium or one of these other blogging platforms where people in your industry are going to learn more about the problems and solutions or the answers that you want to provide. The thing is to stay consistent, to get up and blog and write and publish good content over and over again. I know you probably read and you see all these amazing success stories where people weren't ranking at all, and then the next day they did this one thing and then they saw all these results. Well, it doesn't always happen like that. And in fact, a majority of the time it doesn't. What it takes is dedication, and what it takes is getting up and shipping every day, making those posts and providing that value over and over again. Because I can assure you, if you're providing valuable content that people love to read, love to engage with, love to digest, that the search engines will definitely reward that in the long run. Hey, thanks so much for checking out this video. It really means a lot. If you like what you saw, please hit the subscribe button below. That way, every time I post a new video, you'll be one of the first people to know. You can also check us out on our website where I write blogs every single week, or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thanks for connecting with us, and happy marketing.